Hello, and welcome to Get Well Soon, the show where everyday teenagers just like you discuss and learn about how to achieve your personal and academic goals while taking care of yourself mentally and physically. I'm Dale.
I'm Liam.
I'm Cafe.
And today we are joined by our school counselor, Mrs. Brown, who will help us discuss how practicing gratitude can improve mental health and happiness. So, first of all, what is gratitude? Gratitude is expressing thanks or appreciation for someone or something. First off, Ms. Brown, why do you think that gratitude is important?
Gratitude is so incredibly important. I think in a fast-moving world, and especially sort of a materialistic world that we're told to want more and do better and always kind of keep improving, it is important to slow down a little bit and practice gratitude and sort of, appreciate what we have, how far we've come, everything like that. It really does sort of give just a little bit more positive to our human experience when we practice gratitude.
Yeah, so I think, as Ms. Brown was saying, kind of adding that positive back into your life. I think we have so many, negative thoughts and things like that, and gratitude really helps you, kind of forces you to kind of start thinking more positive. What I've been doing is I've been gratitude journaling, and every morning I just write down 3 things that I'm grateful for. And I'm pretty much forcing myself to appreciate some things in my life. And what I've learned is that gratitude is kind of like a skill, and you become better at it. And by writing those 3 things down in my journal, I start seeing things throughout the day that I'm grateful for.
Yeah, absolutely. It's actually scientifically proven that we can rewire our synapses in our brain. And gratitude can really help us do that when we're sort of forcing those positive thoughts into our head. Eventually, it does sort of change the way that we're thinking in a really positive way.
Yeah, because you can't really force your brain to be happy, but you could force yourself to kind of be more grateful.
Like you said, gratitude is definitely a skill that you can work on. And like Ms. Brown said, in a materialistic society, it's kind of hard to stop and take a moment and realize what you have, not even compared to other people, just what you have in general, in life. That can be good things like family and friends, and it can be bad things too, like negative experiences that open your eyes to a different way that you could have done something. So
going off what you said about the materialistic society and always wanting more, right? So basically, I can give an example when I'm playing my Xbox and I go to the store and there's all these new deals on new games. And I'm like, oh man, I want to get this game. But then I realize I have all these other games that I didn't even play, right? So it's it's kind of related to gratitude, but I guess I should be grateful for the games I have and I should enjoy them, Because while this new game is good, while these new shoes would be cool to have, I really have stuff that I have already and I should appreciate that.
I think gratitude, I think it's very important because I feel maybe even the little things, even just food, being here, having friends, I feel sometimes we just don't take the time to really take that into account. And I feel taking that into account once in a while, it can brighten up our day, and it can also help us to reflect on ourselves, and instead of comparing ourselves to other people, like Liam said, it can put a light on ourselves, which I think is what's more important.
So true. That kind of makes me think about, I don't know if this has happened to anyone else, but I know every single time I get a cold, I say I'm never going to take my health for granted again. I'm never going to take my ability to breathe through my nose for granted again, or, but then you don't really always wake up every morning and necessarily always think oh, I'm glad I can breathe through my nose today, But those are really significant things. And anyone who has a serious illness will tell you, definitely don't take your health for granted.
Yeah, realizing that you just have it good, even in the case where when you get sick, that things can be worse. So just appreciating the things that are going good for you can just make things, I guess, seem not so bad sometimes. When you're going through a struggle, you can just take a moment to appreciate the fact that that you have a roof over your head, or that you have friends around you, and you just be creative about it. But being grateful can definitely help during those bad times. And actually, I was doing some research, and I found a strategy kind of related to that. It's called a gratitude jar. So basically, whenever you feel grateful for something, I'm grateful for my friend Kefe, so you would write it down and you put it in a jar, and then whenever you're feeling down, you shake up the jar and you pull something out. So you pull it out, it's like, oh, I realize I'm grateful for cafe, or I realize I'm grateful for the roof I have over my head, or I'm grateful for my teacher and how nice they are, or something like that.
I like that.
Ms. Brown, do you have any strategies for gratitude?
Yeah, so definitely, I love the gratitude jar. I've heard of that too. That's really cool. Similar to what you said though, Dale, I guess the big one that I love is practicing gratitude. I try to do it at the end of every day. You said you do it at the beginning, right? I do mine at the end of every day, looking back on that day in particular, challenging myself to find something, not always, but something new or different. And there's other ways of gratitude too, even like giving back, right? Like volunteering and doing something good for other people can help you sort of feel that gratitude in your heart also.
Yeah, practicing gratitude definitely puts things into perspective. You may have failed like a math test or something, and you may think that your life is over, like thoughts like that. But then you go home, you like hug your family, see your friends, have a nice warm meal, sleep in a nice warm bed. And we don't really realize that we have so much compared to what we could have. So like practicing gratitude really puts things into perspective, and realizing that one math test is not like the end of your life, or stuff like that.
That's true. I think also too with what you said, using the math test example, I think one way you can almost like level up in gratitude is the silver lining, right? We've all heard about the silver lining, and that is its own sort of form of gratitude. When you say, okay, I failed this math test, but I am grateful that it is only term 1 and I still have 3 more terms and more opportunities. I'm grateful that I can stay after with my teacher, that I can get a tutor if I need to, right? And there's a balance in life. Sometimes some people would call it toxic positivity, which is also a thing that's like the anti-gratitude, when people say like, okay, but you have to let me feel my feelings, right? Because like it does stink to fail a math test. So it's kind of like both things can happen at once. Like it can stink when you fail your math test, but it can also be an opportunity to say, okay, well, I'm grateful, I'm thankful that I have higher standards for myself and that I have the opportunity to get myself to a higher level.
Building off of what Liam said, I have a question. So do you think that like focusing on like the little things, could it like, and like minimalizing like those little things, do you think like that basically like takes us out of like really like what we should be grateful for?
It's, not getting caught up in all the details and the worries and kind of, maybe I'm understanding this correctly, right?
Yeah.
I think it's one of my favorite things to talk about is zooming in and zooming out. I think that's a really powerful way that we can put perspective into our life. Zooming in is the math test. Zooming out is, getting to graduation, right? Like this math test isn't going to stop you from graduating, right? Like you have opportunities, you have all these different things. But I think, so I guess in general it is, so like your math test, right? That's zooming into one moment, but overall, are you a good student? You have the respect of your teachers. You are doing well in your classes. You are understanding your material. So that math test can be getting caught up in the details where there is a lot more, a bigger picture. So kind of pulling yourself out of that like really sharp focus on that one negative thing and just kind of seeing the bigger picture.
Seeing the bigger picture definitely allows you to be grateful for more things, like looking ahead and like realizing that the term is not over. Your relationship with your teachers are good. You can come back from this. Like that definitely increases gratitude, I would think.
All right, so now I'd like to end off with some more strategies for gratitude. I start off with the one I was doing in the morning. I wake up, I turn off my alarm clock, and right next to my alarm clock is my gratitude journal. So I just write 3 things that I'm grateful for, and what I find is that it kind of puts you into a state of gratitude right in the morning. So you just wake up and you feel grateful. So that's pretty good. And, also get it done in the morning, too, as well. And as Miss Brown said, she does it at night. So that, I think doing it in the morning or night can kind of, you have more control over those times, so I would say. So it kind of helps you get to it. Some other things, the gratitude jar I mentioned earlier, writing something that you're grateful for, putting it in a jar and then shaking it up and grabbing something whenever you feel down to remind yourself of what you're grateful for. Another thing that you can do is you can write gratitude letters. Now, this is where like you text someone, like your friend, and you say, I'm grateful for you because, and then like describe a time that you guys shared or just something about your friend. You don't even have to like send the text or send a letter. You can just write them in general, kind of like similar to like a journal. You just write, I'm grateful for this person because, and then yeah, it'll just, and I think, you know, expressing gratitude to people as well is kind of a good thing to do. Also, there's people before eating at like the table, like in their religion, people might say grace or something like that. So that's another example of gratitude. And volunteering, as Miss Brown said, that can kind of express gratitude and things like that. And then there's also like a gratitude meditation. I didn't look up too much into this, but you can look that up if you like. Before we wrap up, do Liam and Kefe, do you guys think that you're going to start practicing any kinds of gratitude, or does any like strategy stand out to you that you'd want to try?
I think the gratitude jar is interesting. Like, I don't think I've actually ever heard of that. So I think like just writing things down and like just once in a while, like taking something out of a jar and like appreciating it, I think that would be a good practice, and it'd be something new for me to try.
I think I'll try the journal or look more into that, because knowing myself, if I were to write down 3 things I'm grateful for each day, after probably a week, I think I would have like just repeating the same 3 over and over, just as like a habit, not even thinking of it when I do it, just like writing it down because like that's the routine. But like Ms. Brown said, challenging myself to think of something new that I'm grateful for will kind of like allow me to realize that myself, instead of just like making it a habit of writing like these 3 words over and over again with no meaning attached to them.
All right, everyone. Thank you for watching. And I'd like to end this episode by saying I'm grateful to everyone here. I'm grateful to Miss Brown. I'm grateful to Kefe. I'm grateful to Liam. And I'm grateful for, you know, AACS for allowing us to kind of to film this podcast in the first place. And of course, I'm grateful to you, the viewer, for coming in and checking in on this episode. We hope you enjoyed it. And make sure to subscribe on your platform of choice so you can get all the new episodes. And I'm Dale.
I'm Liam.
I'm Kefe.
And we hope you get well soon.